So as of now, how many select statements we used in the program? From how many tables we are selecting the data?
Single table.
We are selecting only from single table and displaying the output, right? But in general, when we create an application or when we create a program, do we select or do we need to select data from only single table?
No, sir.
Usually, we take it as one application with some data that is linked with multiple
Some other tables. Yes, sir.
multiple tables. Okay, employee master data will be one table, employee salary data will be in one table, employee attendance data will be in another table, right? So like this,
Yes, sir.
there will be multiple tables. For example, if you take material master data, what is the table for material master data?
Mara.
Mara. But if you need material text, name of the material, what is the table? Material text table,
Echo.
MAKT, MAKT, right? Material text table.
Okay.
If you need to select or if you need to display text also, we need to select data from MAKT as well, right?
Yes, sir.
If you take purchase order data, what is the table for purchase order data? EKKO.
KKO.
EKKO is the header table, right? And EKPO is its corresponding item table. EKPO is its corresponding item table. Here, along with EBLN, EBLN is the purchase order number. What is the other data, other field we have? EBLP. EBLP
EBL.
means item number. Why we use header and item data? In the header level, see when companies will create a purchase order, when they need to procure something, when they need to buy something, some raw material or stationery, they don't directly go to some shop and buy, right? If you take any company, if you take any company which follows some process, they don't directly buy goods from wherever they want. What they do, first they'll prepare requisition, what are the materials they need, and they'll ask the vendors to send the quotation. Hey, we need these goods. Whoever can provide these goods for us, please send us your quotation with your price and expected delivery date, right? Then vendors will send the quotations. Someone in the purchasing department review those quotations and finalize one vendor. Depends on their previous history, their expected they expected delivery date and the price what they are offering. By comparing everything, they'll finalize one vendor and they will finalize the quotation. After the quotation, they create one document that is called purchase order document. So what does this purchase order document contains? Important details are vendor, who is the vendor supplying the materials, and what are the materials we are purchasing. One purchase order contains one or more materials. Okay, one purchase order contains one or more materials. For each material we use a separate item in that item will be maintained in which table? EKPO. Okay,
EKPO.
for the header data, overall header data, like vendor, right? These details, total price, total purchase order price. These details will be maintained in EKKO table. Okay. So we have a transaction code ME21N to create the purchase order. /o ME21N. This is to create a new purchase order. Usually functional or business users are going to create these purchase orders. But when you create the data in this ME21N transaction code, where the data will be stored? Is it going to store in a single table? No, that will be stored in EKKO, EKPO, and material level data, and there are different other tables. All that data is going to be stored in these multiple tables. So we need to select data from all these multiple tables.
Yes.
When we need to select the data, when we need to display the data, purchase order data, we need to select from all these different tables. But once you read the data from different tables, how to display, we'll see that. 1 second, guys. Give me 1 minute. Sorry, guys. Okay. So when the purchase order is created, that will be distributed. The data will be stored in different tables, right? Few of the important tables: EKKO, EKPO. These are the important tables. EKKO is for purchase order header data. EKPO is for purchase order item level data. So what you can find in EKKO? So in EKPO, we have two primary keys, EBELN and EBLP. So each item in EKPO represents one material, okay, and its quantity and price, okay. So total one purchase order may contains multiple materials, okay, not only single material but multiple materials. Each material, like what is the quantity of that material, what is the price, and everything will be available in EKPO table. Let me execute this table. Here you can increase the number of records. How many records are there in this table total? Check the number of entries. In EKKO, we'll have a company code and purchase order type, like vendor, who is the supplier, vendor or supplier. We call him as vendor or supplier. These details will be available in EKKO table. Server is very slow. Let me try the other system. 2021, 2020. Okay, 2020 is responding. Database inconsistency. There is some issue. Someone corrupted the database. Okay, we got the output. So this is EKPO data. If you observe here, one purchase order number, one purchase order number one contains how many items? Two items, 10, 20. Okay, 10 is one item, 20 is one item. Check what is the data available in 10. Short text material number. What is the material? And what are the other details? This is quantity. How many materials? What is the quantity of the material? 20. And what is the unit of measurement? 20 tons. Okay,
Tons.
20 tons. And what is the net price? Some 1 lakh, right? 1 lakh. What is this net price? What is this net price means? Net price, net value. There are two fields. Net price and net value. Net price is 1 lakh. And what is the net value? 20 lakhs. Can you tell me what is this? So what is the quantity? What is the quantity of line item 10?
20, 20.
20 tons. 20 tons. What is
Yes.
the net value? Net value is 1 lakh.
For each ton of
Net price. Net price means unit price per each, like unit
one,
price. So
one quantity equal to
yeah,
1 lakh.
one quantity equal to 1 lakh. So here it is 20 tons. So each ton is 1 lakh. 20 tons are 20 lakhs.
Lakh. Yes,
This
sir.
is the actual value. Net value is the actual value. Net price means unit price, right? Unit price.
Yes, sir.
Here it is in tons. This material is in tons. That is 20 lakhs. That item. Observe the second item of the same purchase order. Material, different material. Material number 21. They are purchasing a different material. Material number 21. So what is the quantity? 10. Right? Quantity is 10. What is the unit of measurement? EA.
Each
EA
piece.
means each piece. So net price is 1,50,000 and one net value is 1,50,000 into 10. That is 15 lakhs. Right? So like that, you'll be having multiple items for each purchase order number, one or more. There might be one item also, right? One is minimum and there might be multiple. Okay. For many purchase orders, there is only one item. If you observe this purchase order number ending with 6, it contains 6 items: 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 6 items are there in the same purchase order. If you observe this, tire,
Yes, sir.
engine, body, chassis, accessory kits, and some seats, right? and each item contains its own unit of measurement, price, right?
And net values.
Net value. Now, when we need to select one purchase order data, if we select only one table, that is not enough, right? Because header data is in EKKO, item data is in EKPO. If you go to the
EKPO.
header data of this purchase order number 450 ending with 6, let me go to EKKO, enter the purchase order number, the filter. So how many records we have for the purchase order in EKKO? Only one record,
Single.
because EBLN is the primary key here, right? You cannot maintain more than one purchase order number in EKKO.
Yes.
Okay. If you observe what is the data available here, supplier nothing but vendor. Who is the
Vendor.
vendor supplying these materials? And here you have total value, total value, combined value of all items. This is exchange rate. What is the field name? Let me check the field name for the total value. I think there should be some field called NETPR, or go to currency and quantity fields. You can easily find it. I think this one, KTWRT. KTWRT is the field where you can see the combined quantity. Now, to link both tables, EKK1, EKK1, EKPO, what is the relation between both tables?
By using structure.
Like if you need to link EKKO and EKPO tables data, how can you link? What is the relation between EKKO and EKPO? What is the relation that you can observe? Observe the fields. This is EKKO, primary key is EBLN. This is EKPO, one of the primary keys EBLN, and other primary key is item number data EBELP. Now, what is the relation between both tables?
Same fields between two tables.
EBLN is the common field, right, in both tables.
Yes, sir.
So, by using this common field, you can link both tables data, right? If you know the purchase order number, you can get the purchase order items also from EKPO. If you know the purchase order number, enter the purchase order number and display all items. It's associated items, right? So here purchase order number is the link between header data and item data. First we need to get the purchase order number. By using the purchase order number, we select the purchase order item data. Okay, clear? Let's see, is there any foreign key relationship here? EBLN, place the cursor on EBLN. Check the foreign key relationship. What is the foreign key relationship here? I'm in EKPO table. EKPO EBLN is linked with EKKO EBLN as check table. What is the check table for EKPO EBLN? EKKO table is the check table, because if you have header data, then only it should allow item level data. Without the header data, it should not allow to create the item level data. That is mandatory. Okay. So what is the check table for EKPO? EBLN?
EVLN.
EKKO. EKKO is the check table. EKKO is the header table, right? That is the check table. Okay. Clear? What is the check table for material number? In the EKPO table, we have a field material number, Matner. What is the check table for material number? Mara. Mara is the check table for material number, because it's the material master data table, right? Mara is the material master data table, right? Similarly, you can find check table for many tables. Take company code BUKRS. BUKRS is a company code. Check the foreign key. T001 is the check table for company code. Okay. Works means plant. WERKS. Plant. You can also check the T001W. T001W is the check table for plant. Like that, every important attribute will have one check table. Okay.
Yes,
Storage
sir.
location. Every important attribute will have one check table. The data which is available in check table is the only valid data. Okay. That is the only valid data. Now let's create one simple program to select the data. I'm not going to select all the fields from these tables, because in EKPO you have 640 fields. In EKKO also you have around 300 plus fields. We don't need all the data, right? We should always select only required data. What is required for us? Okay. I'll select few fields from EKKO and few fields from EKPO. Create the program. I'm saving it in the local object. Define some inputs. Here First, what is the base data that I need to select? First, which data I need to select, header data or item data?
Header data, sir.
Usually we select header data and then we select the corresponding item level data. But sometimes we directly select header item level data also when we don't need any header level information. We just need the item level information, right? But what are the fields available in header data? Let's check. So we can filter the data. We don't need to select all the data, right? All the purchase orders data, right? Only selected purchase orders data depends on some requirement. What are the fields available? EBLN is one and company code. We can filter the data by company code, and also purchase document type also we can filter. What are the other fields we have? We have created date. Who created the, sorry, when it is created, or who created the purchase order. We can filter the data by all these criteria. Let's take date as our filter, date as our input, created date. Okay, AEDAT. What is the type? This is the type. I'll create a select option for this type. Select options. Date for LV underscore date. So my select option is ready. If you need to pass any default values, what is the event you need to use?
Initialization.
You need to use initialization if you want to pass any default values. If you want to validate the input, what is the event we need to use? At
Add selection screen.
selection screen. And to write the business logic,
Start of
start
selection.
of selection.
Startup selection.
Usually we display data in end of output. We display the output in end of selection. We need to follow this sequence, right? Like it is not mandatory to use all the events, but if you need to use the events, you have to follow sequence. Okay, installation at selection screen you may not require to use if you don't have any default values, or if you are not validating any inputs. Okay, now let's say I need to validate the data. If there is no values in SO date, I should not allow the user to execute. How can you do that? What is the event for validation?
Itself node.
Yes, I can validate like this. If SO underscore data, sorry, date is initial. What do you mean by is initial? If it is empty,
Empty.
if there is no value entered by the user, then I'll raise a message.
Error message.
What is the type? E.
Error
E.
message.
Type E. So it will stop the process. It won't allow to proceed further. Sorry, where did I write this? Not in the start of selection. At selection screen. In at selection screen, we have to write the validations. Okay, because this is the event which will be triggered when we click on execute before going to select the data. If there is any error, it will stop the process. It won't proceed further. Okay. Now in start of selection, I'll write the logic. Select EBELN. And what are the other fields in EKKO? EBLN. I'll select the company code and I'll select created date AEDAT. And I'll select vendor. This is also an important field, right? Vendor is also an important field. Vendor. If you check table for listener is nothing but vendor. What is the check table for listener? LFA1. LFA1 is the table for vendor master data, like customer master data. We have KNA1, right? What is the table for vendor master data? LFA1. Okay.
LFA.
From EKKO into table at the data. I'm using inline declarations. LTEKKO or LTPO header, whatever the name you want, you can take it, but as per some naming conventions. Where, what is the where condition we can use? Tell me the where condition.
Select option.
Select option, but what is the field we are using? AEDAT,
Day.
right?
Yes.
JDA.
AEDAT in the select option name. So it will get you the header level data. If sy hyphen sub rc equal to 0 and if. So we have selected the header level data. But to select the item level data, what is the input? We need to select the item level data, right? But what is the input we can provide to select the item level data? Do we need to select all the headers? Sorry, do we need to select the all item records or only the item records which are relevant
Selected
to the
in
already selected header records? We need to select item data relevant to this header level data, right? We have already selected some header records into this internal table by using some selection criteria. We have already selected some header records. We need to select the item records for these header records, right? Not all the item records. Yes? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So by using date, let me show you here. By using some condition, where is date? Go to fields for selection. Select AEDAT is also input. So what I am doing, first I will select some records from EKKO table created on. I'm using this condition records between May 1st and current date. I'm executing. So I have some purchase orders, right? So now I need
Yes,
to
sir.
select item level data for only these purchase orders which are created between these two dates, right? Not all the purchase orders. I think I have selected a different table. Let me select the date again. Number of entries. I have 289. Let me reduce it. Let me reduce the date 09012. How many records? Only 11 records. Execute. So between the given dates 1st September to 4th September, how many purchase orders are created? 11 purchase orders are created, right? Now, I want data, item level data for only these 11 purchase orders. How can you provide that input? Select EBLN from the selected purchase orders and enter that in EKPO, right? If you can enter that in EKPO, execute. Now you can select purchase order item data for only those purchase order header records, not all the item records. How can you specify here? Let's write one more select statement. Select what are the fields in EKPO. EBELN, EBLP is the item number, and few other important data like material number, matter, and in item data what is important? Net price and net value. These are few important fields from EKPO into table the rate of data of LT underscore EKPO where. Now what is the where condition we can use? Now what are the records that we need to select from EKPO? We need to select the EKPO data for corresponding EKKO data which is already selected by using date as condition,
Yeah.
right? Now how can you pass that condition? EBELN. This is the common field, right, between both tables. EBLN is the common field, right?
Yes, sir.
EBLN equal to and LT underscore EKKO. Now what are we saying? Hyphen EBLN. Now what are we asking for the what are we asking to do? We are asking to select EKPO data corresponding to EKKO data which we already selected, right? Check the syntax. Sorry, we need to maintain the escape sign. What it is saying?
So already
LTEKKO
created this.
LTEKKO is unknown. It is saying LTEKKO is unknown. This one LTEKKO is unknown in where condition. Why it is saying? Because we cannot directly use this condition in the next level data, next level select statement. If we need to select we need to use a very important statement. For all entries in EKKO. This is very important statement we need to use. I need to use escape. If it is a normal ABAP, a normal select statement, you don't need to use this escape. But if you are using inline declaration, you need to use this at the date as escape. Okay. Now check. No syntax errors. So what is the statement that we need to use? For all
For
entries
all.
in. For all entries in. What is the use of for all entry statement? To select the corresponding data of header level data. Okay. When we have some data already selected in one internal table, right? By using that internal table data as input, we can select the next level data. Okay, we can select the next level data. Clear? For that, what is the statement we need to use? For all entries.
For all entries.
But we cannot directly use for all entries statement. There are important rules to be followed to use for all entry statements. We cannot directly use for all entry statement on the item level data. First important thing is we need to sort the header level internal table. By which field? By which field we need to sort? Whatever the fields we are using in the where condition in the item level data, the common field. Whatever the common fields we are using in the where condition, we need to sort those fields by EBELN. Sort is first important rule. Internal table, header level internal table should be sorted. What is the second rule? The very important rule is this should not be empty. EKKO data should not be empty. That we are make sure that we can make sure here. If we use SY sub RC check, we can say that this select statement is successful and we are able to select at least one record. What is the first rule? Header level internal table should not be blank or empty. That we can check using sub RC here. What is the second rule? That should be in sorted order. That should be in sorted order. Third rule, there should not be any duplicate records. Duplicate records by this field EBLN. For that, what we need to do? Delete adjacent duplicates from LT EKKO. Comparing which field? Which field we need to compare to find the duplicate records? EBE,
EBL.
EBLN. Okay. Now we need to apply for all entries. Before going to apply for all entries, what we need to take care? We need to check the header table contains at least one record or not. It should not be blank, and we should sort the internal table, and we should delete the duplicate records from the internal table. Okay, by comparing the common field. So now we selected the data from two different tables, EKKO and its corresponding data from EKPO. Okay. Now what is the next step? Display the output. How can you display the output? For example, if you use output in the sense, what do you mean by output? Is it only header data, or is it only item data, or is it a combination of both data? What do we call as output in this case?
Combination of both tables.
It is combination of both tables. Now output, what is the output we need to display? Combination of header data and item data. Combined data we need to display as output. But where is the header level data? Header level data in
ITEKKO.
LTEKKO. That is a separate internal table. And where is the item level data? That is in
LDEKPO.
EKPO. Two different internal tables contains data. To display the combined output, what we need to do? We need to combine both data into some final output. That can be anything. Name can be anything. I am just giving it as final output. What we need to do? We need to merge header data and item data into a final output which contains header data as well as item data. Okay. For now, I'm not combining. Let's display the both outputs. We'll see how to combine two internal tables data into one single output. Let's execute. I'll provide some date. So first it is displaying header level data. I'll close it. Then item level data. But what is my expected output? It should be combination of header level data and item level data. For that, what we need to do? We need to merge these two internal tables into one single internal table. We usually call that as final internal table. We'll see that tomorrow. Please practice using for all entry statement. Okay. You can take VBAK, VBAP tables also, sales order tables, VBAK, VBAP, or you can also take MARA, MAKT, material master data and material text. MAKT is the material text table. You can use these two tables also to practice for all entries. Okay.